Previously on Drawn Together.
Don't make me kick your ass.
Don't make me suck your dick!
Don't make me cuddle you like a baby.
Don't make me suck your dick!
What is going on?
Class dismissed.
Hey, hey, hey! It's Truffs! Remember this?
Remember that.
What about this? Oh yeah, you're remembering Drawn Together existed now. Like with anything controversial or a touch dated, people are always quick to quip about Drawn Together. Wow, you couldn't make this today. You couldn't make it then. I don't know how they did. Hell, they were outing old Sleepy Bill Cosby in 2004.
We never touched an innocent girl in our lives. We ain't Bill Cosby. We're just his creation.
2004. That's 10 whole years before Hannibal Buress started the chain of dominoes that finally ended this creature's career. Step aside, landlord. The Dick and Fart Show stood up first.
Brava!
Drawn Together.
Brava!
Oh, but sure, make no mistake, you especially couldn't make it today either.
Calm down, you slut!
Drawn Together's MO is, infamously, being as offensive as possible, as frequently as possible. And I don't just mean Family Guy hinting that Peter might be gay, or South Park making Randy smoke the funny weed. They load in as many racist and sexist and explicit and everything phobic jokes and slurs as they possibly can into 20-odd minutes. This show about some cartoon characters in a reality show covered murder, bestiality, cannibalism, rape, torture, incest, pedophilia, drug abuse, genocide, suicide, abortion. If you can think of a taboo topic that didn't get joked about during its 3-year run, honestly, I'd love to hear it. And despite all this, despite it being what this show is perhaps best known for, that's really not where its strengths lie. As we all know, comedy is all the better when picked apart and analysed by video essayists. How are you going to ha-ha at the joke if I don't explain it to you? Honestly. So join me as we take a look at what really made Drawn Together so different from the rest.
It was as if everything on the date that could have gone wrong did.
Captain Hero, take me home!
What, you're not having fun?
I think it's great that in recent years, people are realizing what an underrated gem American Dad is compared to its animated sitcom peers. And I find that Drawn Together and American Dad share one particular appeal that makes it stand out and draws me in personally: absurdist humor.
What are you doing?
Will you gay marry me?
Oh, I feel like a schoolboy. But this is pretty good too.
I was about to propose to Xander, and then out of nowhere, that damn Diamond Vision tried to move in on my man! I was here first!
But I could make him very happy.
Grounded concepts are contrasted against the bizarre routes the plots take. A seed of an average sitcom plot that spirals and spirals until you end up somewhere completely inexplicable.
Here's suicidal, no arms and legs, guy. Here's suicidal, no arms and legs, guy.
Situations will snowball even when they begin really quite innocently. A great example of this is actually my all-time favourite Drawn Together episode, hands down, and it's a very special Drawn Together. Xander, ironically the cast's straight man, is nervous about telling his parents that he's gay.
You really should tell them. Admitting you have a problem is the first step to recovery.
Some role-playing is suggested to help him figure out how to phrase it to them. Only, the gang isn't going to play along, of course.
Oh, come on, buddy. You know we all hate you.
They're too silly. But naturally, this upsets Xander, who was really trying to be vulnerable. Poor Baba. Xander, who somehow manages to be a cute nugget of innocence in a swamp of psychopaths.
I think grapes are fun. Grapes are fun.
So, seeing him cry, they decide to take this role-playing seriously after all. You know, really help him. In a lot of ways, this is reminiscent of a Clone High plot ragging infamously cheesy after-school special episodes of sitcoms. Only, it takes a turn instantly by how quickly they overcommit.
Mom, Dad, I'm gay.
What? You're a goddamn queer?
How could you do this to us?
The entire remainder of the episode is like this, naturally leading to the characters they're role-playing as, suggesting role-playing as a way to cope with the roles they're playing, except not really playing, so now it's a deep roleplay of a deep roleplay, and Toot fucks Clara and abuses her wife Captain Hero, and Foxy's a prostitute, and Xander gets pissed on for money, and they didn't invest in a quality shitting table, and now everyone's dead for real. Not for play.
That's what'll happen when I tell my parents I'm gay. Huh? Thanks, guys!
Toot Goes Bollywood is another solid example of the absurd plot escalation that can happen. Toot buys a dress, middle, now she's having sex with every man in India as a divine bovine. What? Not to mischaracterize the structure. We all know how modern Simpsons and Family Guy lazily squash two smaller, unrelated plots together because it's easier than writing one longer series of events. The Griffins go to a Star Trek convention, which naturally leads to Meg becoming a fanatical Christian. The trade-off is always unrelated and clumsy.
Well, you're not Thomas Edison.
Marge, that's it! I need to be more like Thomas Edison!
Whatever.
It's a lot harder and funnier to have a cause and effect structure in your narrative, no matter how extreme said effect is. Let's rewind. Toot is jealous of how many hookups Foxxy has. They agree to a competition. Toot is losing since she can't get anyone to sleep with her.
Okay, last call. Who wants to make it with the tutors, girl?
To fix this, she gets a moo-moo as part of a makeover. An Indian family then mistake the fat Toot yelling moo moo as a sacred talking cow. Toot, realizing that she can't convince a man to bang her willingly, abuses this power to sleep with as many people in India as possible. In the end, Toot learns her lesson. Forcing people to sleep with you doesn't help your self-esteem, and it's better to be made fun of by friends than to have slaves who literally think you're a cow.
Come on, Toot. Would you rather spend your entire life with people who think you're a cow, or with your friends, who only call you a cow to hurt your feelings?
See? Full circle. It makes complete sense. As well as outlandish cause and effect, bizarre offhand jokes also serve to craft this fever dream of an atmosphere.
Everything gonna be alright.
Oh, yeah, you like to comfort me, don't you, bitch? To make matters worse.
Wacky as they are, sometimes even the characters themselves are mystified.
Oh, come on! I lit a homeless girl on fire.
What the? That's horrible. Who said that?
Wasn't me.
Fire's happy now.
In the same realm as these random little remarks, something else I plumb forgot until rewatching Drawn Together was that stupid little visual gags. Often the kind of visual dad jokes you'd find in newspaper comic strips just crop up everywhere. I probably forgot because they don't draw your attention to it forcefully. They trust you as the audience to pick up on them yourself. I like that. Just as a verbal joke isn't funny when you laboriously explain it, part of the fun of a visual joke is the jolt of noticing it. The Family Guy style of, hey look, see that? Wasn't that crazy? Let's discuss in detail how crazy that was.
Hey everyone, I'm in college, but here's a test for you. We just gave you the easiest joke setup in Family Guy history. Peter joins a fart house. Is the correct punchline A, and I thought calculus stunk? B, we don't need a plane, we need a big...
It just saps any fun right out of this kind of humor. You know, sometimes things just happen. And things just happening also works particularly well in a show like Drawn Together because the energy they put into being as offensive as possible is evidenced by their sheer joke count, with the show rapidly firing them into a wall and hoping most stick. There's minimal exposition because almost all downtime is filled with gags.
Oh, I like to whisper too. My only problem is I never know what to whisper, so sometimes I just pretend like this.
Or maybe there are so many jokes because they didn't want to write much exposition and instead wanted to stuff the airtime with gags. Chicken or the egg?
Chicken or the egg? Chicken or the egg? Chicken or the egg? Chicken or the egg? Chicken or the egg? Chicken or the egg? Chicken or the egg? Chicken or the egg? Chicken or the egg? Chicken or the egg? Chicken or the egg? Chicken or the egg? Chicken or the egg? Chicken or the egg? Chicken or the egg? Chicken or the egg? Chicken or the egg?
Drugs! Why would you do that? Why would you do that to me?
I can't play it as an unbroken string for obvious reasons, but the first minute of a very special Drawn Together is exactly like this. Like, this is all from the first 1 minute and 10 seconds.
Thirsty? He out back.
Xander, you really should tell them. Admitting you have a problem is the first step to recovery.
Papa? Papa? Where? Oh.
I'm sure I speak for the both of us when I say,
Life is just one big, mildly amusing cartoon to you guys.
Oh, come on, buddy. You know we all hate you.
An added bonus of being so snappy and high speed with visual gags in particular is that you can come back to the show months or years later and notice things you didn't on your last watch. For any show, that's important.
L. Ron Hubbard, watch over us all. Amen.
These aren't one-and-done affairs like Family Guy, desperately trying to fill up their mandated time.
Peter, did you throw up in the sink? Peter!
You can see this phenomenon a lot in shows like Futurama or Garth Marenghi's Dark Place.
When I first joined this hospital, I was strictly solo.
Which led to fans engaging with the material well after they ended. Well, the first time they ended. Likewise, you can still be entertained by Drawn Together in new ways, long after it was first new to you.
You know where to find me.
But being packed fuller than Xander's arsehole with jokes isn't the only way Drawn Together retains audience interest.
Right, Craig? Pillow fight!
The cast is fairly large, even for a sitcom, but each one brings something new to the table.
Storybook princess or textbook racist?
It must be so frustrating that you're not as buoyant as regular people.
With each one representing a genre or era of animation. Just a little bit fucked up.
Really?
We have Foxxy being this great mashup of a few Hanna-Barbera tropes.
Detective Foxxy decided to take out her double magnifying glass and solve the mystery of the thing what happened.
The music playing, the mystery solving, sassy, strong 70s black woman.
Man, I've been stuck like this for 3 hours.
And probably the closest thing we have to a lead character. Captain Hero reps the superhero genre, and Princess Clara is here to dog on Disney.
I'm so glad you gave us a second chance.
Well, at first...
Shut up! I mean, shut your fucking face, my sweet.
Wooldoor is a parody of 2000s bonkers kids shows like SpongeBob. Xander's fantasy with some video games thrown in.
Fabo! That makes 100! Ooh, now I can jump with a spin! I thought it was cute.
While Spanky represents the then burgeoning world of edgy internet cartoons. Finally, old Toots is a Betty Boopish stand-in for the rubber hose era of animation. Outside of Ling-Ling, a pretty one-note rep for anime, there really isn't any fat to be cut here, and there's a lot of nice little touches to sell the concept. Whether it be Foxxy not having the whites in her eyes coloured in,
which was the style at the time,
Spanky always being animated at a lower frame rate, or the very familiar horns section in Wooldoor's theme.
Get the fuck out of the car! Move, move, move!
All right!
Flanderization is often used in a negative context when talking about how these characters develop, but it can work well in animated comedies when done right. Characters who embody a familiar archetype, like the Drawn Together gang very much do, mold themselves around their unique quirks and the unique role they've come to play in their show, becoming weirder versions of themselves in order to separate themselves further from the rest of the cast. I think Francine from American Dad and Princess Clara are comparable as far as Flanderization goes, even if one show changed and morphed much more speedily than the other. Consider Francine in the early show. A little fruity and a little thrill-seeking, sure, but that's hardly unexpected for a cooped-up housewife with more or less grown children. Her adventures start out based on that, like when she joins the Ladybugs. But before too long, she's a little wilder. Hell, just compare the 2 times she became an estate agent.
Wait
Wait a minute, this is Barb stuff. What happened to her?
I will throw my own shit at you if I have to.
Princess Clara is similar. In Hot Tub, she's a parody of Disney innocence juxtaposed with Disney evil. The musical number for that episode being all about her being exposed to this new, strange world and learning what a kiss is, and a following episode starting with her being afraid that the kiss got her pregnant.
I mean, Father would never allow me to birth a black woman's child.
The early episodes are probably the weakest content from her, very predictable stuff. But before long, her relentless optimism about the world becomes stubbornness that it must maintain the image she insists it should. So then of course she's crashing a gay wedding, and then she's jizzing to car crashes and manipulating Captain Hero into, can you call this intimacy?
That's what we get for letting Mulan drive.
Her internalized, naive xenophobia gets replaced with pretty overt racism for any race you could possibly think of.
Oh, you don't need sunblock if you got your clan hood on. Everyone knows that, Foxy.
The only outlier is perhaps Captain Hero. I think that, because the archetype of a superhero is so well understood already, they just let him be a dangerous, violent lunatic straight off the bat.
I wish we had a 12-year-old girl and a donkey.
If the writers need a character to go absolutely ballistic in order to drive a plot forward, they'll usually use good old Captain Hero, the character who sprinted so Homelander could walk. So of course, he gets used a lot.
I have killed one of God's most innocent and intelligent creatures, and I liked it.
His voice actor also just does a phenomenal job delivering these lines. A lot of bad material can be saved when delivered by a great performer. Just look at How I Met Your Mother.
Volunteer of the year!
And Jess Harnell, who you might know better as Wacko from Animaniacs, as Hero, really steals the show.
I said I'm on the phone!
It's just like acting, except that instead of having your whole body, you only have your voice to work with.
He made me wear lipstick.
Although Cree Summer as Foxy gives him a good run for his money.
God damn it, that was real terrible.
They're having so much fun letting loose in these roles, and it's really infectious.
We are giving you an honorary mystery-solving badge.
Mystery-solving badge? If you got some badge that can solve mysteries, what you need your Foxy for?
I do wish old Toot said a few more jokes about her being from the 20s era of animation, though. Cartoons from then are really trippy and crazy. But being fat and gross tends to supersede the tropes you might expect from her otherwise. And as I said, Ling-Ling is only okay. He's violent, dies a lot. He's mostly here to speak gibberish.
Merons, head rides, hoodles, fried eggs, cream puffs.
This is Tara Strong doing her Omi voice from Shaolin Showdown, by the way.
I order you to spill your internal organs right now! What kind of sick people are you?
They literally made him yellow. As a collective, the cast itself has a bit of an identity as well. Together, as a group, the Drawn Together gang is easily influenced, has a cumulative IQ of about 5, and outside of Xandir and Foxxy, sometimes, they have no virtues at all.
What is going on here?
A group of unrestrained passion. A very special Drawn Together is, again, an example of just how far the gang will go when it does decide to commit to something, however long that's for and however unhinged the mission. But this draws the attention to a broader tendency that the Drawn Together writing crew had, and that's only bothering to do what works for the joke.
Loose cannon or just loose?
Say pretty please with a Foxy on top.
Find out what happens when she stops getting to the bottom of a groovy mystery and starts getting real.
Another point of comparison that Drawn Together has with American Dad is the tendency to use characters, plot devices, and even episode structures as and when they're convenient, and only then.
These competitions are bull toot! My head's still all woozy from losing the oxygen competition!
This is a major negative for plot-heavy genres, or even for plot-heavy episodes. Like when Family Guy goes back to finding domestic violence very funny, actually, after arbitrarily deciding that it isn't funny at all, and you should feel bad for these characters. I actually covered that in my first ever video. Haha, don't watch it.
The abusive boyfriend takes control of Squidward's house and begins attacking the city.
It drives a good few Hell of a Boss episodes complaints too, this inability to get your tone right either in one single episode or across the season. But Drawn Together is an unhinged wacko world. A committedly irreverent comedy show comes with the option to pick and choose what dynamics and formats suit the jokes for that episode. Kind of like how Courage the Cowardly Dog
Oh, the things I do for a ceasefire.
or Dexter's Laboratory would continually end episodes with irreversible status changes if that was best for that specific story, with everything going back to normal next week. Not even Family Guy is able to do that, outside the odd treat. They must rely on frequent, painfully lazy speeches to reset and get us back to that status quo in preparation for next week's slop. And not the good kind of slop. As for Drawn Together, if part of your identity is that you don't give a shit, it may even suit you to write this way. And if you do that once, you've really got to keep it up. And Drawn Together loves to keep it up. I can't confirm if this is true, but I get the distinct impression that the elevator pitch for this show was a reality show, but animated, and all the housemates are pop culture parodies. And yet, how many episodes of the show actually involve reality show challenges? Not that many. Even the confessionals are much less important than they are in total drama. And while Hell of a Boss tosses its premise in the garbage as soon as its first episode ends, making you question why the premise is even there, for Drawn Together its role is clear, merely the foundation on which they can build all of this crazy nonsense.
Our team had to invent a low-carb cure for polio before the other team could put an egg in a bucket.
They're roommates, and they have a vague sense of an audience watching them and a booth to talk about their feelings sometimes. That's all they need for what they're here for, which is pure jokes. They also clearly favour some characters for plots over the others, even though, as a reality show, you'd perhaps expect it to be a bit more evenly split, rather than the way Ling-Ling gets treated.
Ling-Ling, you saved my ass!
But speaking of offensive stereotypes.
People laugh at
jokes
and stereotypes.
And stereotypes. And stereotypes.
Something that makes any setting interesting, fiction or reality, is variety between people, or in other words, diversity.
We had one of them card-counting retards.
We were on our way to making millions.
Whoa, I bet Sarah Silverman really wishes you'd forget she did this role.
I am Sandworks Magic Pen, Raven.
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
Unfortunately, tick box exercise culture being seen as unironically virtuous and being adopted all over the West has led to diversity as a word developing connotations of purely superficial difference for the sake of it. Throw in an acceptably brown protagonist, a poly-hijabi amputee, and call it a day. Aang was pretty much the only time they were going to let the avatar be an able-bodied straight Asian male. Your show's outside should be as colourful as possible, but beneath that it should all be the same cookie-cutter characters and tropes we already know work with your standard YA audience. Let's not get too crazy, okay? But Drawn Together is genuinely very diverse. The characters all come from very different forms of media as well as genres, which creates a wide array of expectations to use as the basis for jokes. Who cares about which race boxes are ticked? It's much more interesting when differences in characters as people, realistic or not, are used as a tool in the writing. Spanky Ham's illness in Foxxy versus the Board of Education is rooted in him being a crass internet download.
Ironically, the only way I could get rid of the virus was to have gay sex.
You couldn't do the same joke with Foxy Love or Captain Hero. Toot being from the 20s is the basis for every slightly odd line delivery.
Xander, sorry about before.
Or every joke about her being washed up or old or fat by 2000 standards. The writers then took these things and ran with them. Oh, Toot spat? You don't say. This helps create very different dynamics within each and every character pairing, even before the writers have penned the dialogue. Diversity is their strength. A Captain Hero and Wooldoor story cannot be the same as a Foxxy and Wooldoor story. A Clara and Toot story will not be the same as a Clara and Xander story. If that seems obvious, well, think about how many bad shows have characters act completely differently or turn into mouthpieces just to get things moving along. And as the show goes on, they really figured out what pairings work best, with Hero and Xander becoming a very funny duo in the second half.
I just need to know one thing.
Yes, sweet Xandir.
Are we done? Are you gonna cut the shit now?
Yeah, I guess so.
Speaking of diversity, Drawn Together truly is Offensive Stereotypes, the show.
You're a Jewish, conservative, pro-life, born-again, overweight, Asian, homophobic, lesbian broad who cuts herself.
Your show is a steaming pile of shit.
Whoa! I bet Jimmy Kimmel really wishes he'd forget he did this role.
All the stars are here.
What a blunder. Someone should really take him off the air for 3 days. So it's funny that the promiscuous black single mother ended up being the de facto leader of the whole cast of Offensive Stereotypes, the show. It doesn't feel like it's done with that being the punchline either. It's just organically turned out that way. It kind of does make sense that the outgoing detective character would probably have the combination of social aptitude, gumption, and brains that made them the best candidate for a leader of this motley crew.
Fine. Once again, Foxy's gonna have to clean up y'all's mess.
It just so happened that this kind of character was a promiscuous black single mother. In fact, it would have been a drag if she was the sensible stand-in, the one they couldn't mess around with lest they lose a voice of reason or get accusations of racism, sighing and tutting at the gang's antics, being so above it. So it's great that, while she's more together than the rest of them, usually, with little to no motivation, she'll still run down her childhood friends with a van.
I'm calling to report a hit. A number 1 hit by Foxy Love! Hey, hey, hey!
Or bang Scooby-Doo.
I think that's well rich.
It's also funny that they made the gay man of the cast the straight man of most of their plots.
You got the tickets for the zoo?
What? I thought you had them. Oh, Xander. Oh, you trick me like that again and I'll fucking kill you.
Which does make you wonder, how purposeful were all the writers' choices in this regard? Did they really need to pay a visit to Make a Point Land? Drawn Together wasn't shy about going meta and acknowledging the feedback it got at the time. One real-world Entertainment Weekly review actually earned itself a whole subplot in Xander and Tim sitting in a tree, with a pretty bulletproof response to people finding the show offensive.
I have every right to tell people what I think of your show.
Yes! But people should know you're not our audience, asshole!
The Drawn Together film, which I felt about, to be honest, not a great note to end on, was also about Drawn Together acknowledging its criticism and addressing the claims that it was all just pointless, crass nonsense. So this must have really been feedback that stuck with them.
God damn it, Spanky! It's lowbrow farts like that that made EW give us a fucking F!
But as the B-plot about the Entertainment Weekly reviewer concluded, Drawn Together does have a point. Having a point doesn't mean that you have to preach some specific political message. It gets a lot of praise for it, but you don't have to do the South Park thing, where you laugh at the giant testicles and then nod knowingly at its commentary on the US healthcare system. You see, it's okay to laugh at about a suicide joke because it's all a metaphor for something political this week, I don't know. The point is, we've given you permission to enjoy some offensive comedy, and you're most welcome. And while I do actually enjoy some of South Park's commentary, having an explicit point isn't enough to make your show good, raunchy humor or not. It's also not necessary if you do use raunchy humor. Watch my last video on how much South Park has been phoning that in recently. It's gotten to be the all-encompassing strategy for most dramedy shows over the last 10 or 15 years, especially if they're animated. You're having a laugh at jokes, whilst a genocide is happening. Yeah, New Norm isn't funny, but we're calling out gay beer. Laugh!
Please clap.
Drawn Together has a point in that there's purpose to its design. It's not just a clip show of gore or a string of stereotypes said in a recording booth and then thrown together with some funny pictures. The presence of these things is sometimes funny in and of itself, but is also the foundation upon which a lot of the show's actual jokes are written. And as we've explored, it's actually a pretty well-crafted, enjoyable little nonsense show, and that's enough. That's more than enough, actually. That's better than what a lot of shows can manage. It achieves the ultimate aim of being entertaining. I think the complaints about Drawn Together not having a good enough excuse to be as crass as it is stem from a fairly modern and misguided belief that you need to earn the right to stand out. You can't say n unless it's in the service of a hell of a grand point about race and geopolitics. Even then, I, as a brown woman, can't say n because YouTube would take away my pocket money and delete my channel. Even if it's really funny. One of South Park's funniest jokes is, of course, Randy on Wheel of Fortune.
5 seconds, Mr. Marsh.
All right, I'd like to solve the puzzle. Huh?
That was really bad.
Everyone remembers it. It's a great scene where edgy comedy is used to rag on this character, creating an extremely uncomfortable situation for himself. How the lure of money blinded him to what a bad idea it'd be to say what he says, and how stupid he is to not think of another answer. But, you know, far fewer people remember the rest of the episode, which justifies its opening joke by ruminating on some commentary about how white people can't imagine how hard it is for black people to hear the N-word.
Dude, I don't get it. I don't get it either. Wait a minute. That's it. I don't get it. Huh? Don't you see, Kyle? I don't get it. Token, I get it now. I don't get it. I've been trying to say that I understand how you feel, but I'll never understand. I'll never really get how it feels for a black person to have somebody use the N-word. I don't get it.
Now you get it, Stan.
Yeah, I totally don't get it.
I get it!
But they felt they had to do it. They had a funny scene, but they had to give everyone involved making and watching it permission to laugh at it. And then you switch to Drawn Together and Foxxy has brain cancer and turns into a gollywog. Why? Because it's funny, damn it. And if you can think of a good enough, mighty enough political statement to make that states bad thing bad clearly enough, you better also signal over and over and over and over that the bad things you use to make that point definitely do not represent your views, because you're a good boy. Yes, you are. We're all good boys here. Don't shock me, Hassan, please.
Stupid dog, you're a Zionist!
I think a lot of the ire towards Drawn Together's crassness also stems from another belief that's been around since forever. Being crass is bad. Drawn Together shows willies.
How dare you!
It shows boobies.
How dare you!
It shows improper fluids.
How dare you!
Right wing or left wing, pearl clutchers will be clutching them pearls. And it's fine to be among them, to be honest. But don't pretend it's anything loftier than getting the ick. And certainly don't expect the world to change around you.
Senators, this is the gayest kids show I've ever seen!
There are Drawn Together jokes I don't like because the grossness does outweigh the comedy for me, and that's fine. It comes with the territory of pushing the envelope. You can't be the everything goes show and then hold back. South Park. And then when those jokes that I don't like happen, I'm not offended, because a show I personally enjoy 100% is not something I feel like I'm owed. I'm just not going, haha, that's all. Whilst we're on the subject, another interesting thing to note is that Drawn Together's targets help highlight a major cultural shift. In the context of when the show was made, the most pearl-clutching, most irritatingly self-righteous fusspots of the day were right-wingers.
If gays get married, the institution of marriage will be destroyed. Societies will crumble. Rivers will run with blood. Nazis will once again ride on dinosaurs.
See the homophobic lesbian critic and how many of the jokes are about Christians and pro-lifers. That's who they identified as their critics. It wasn't politically correct to joke at the expense of ethnic minorities or LGBT people, in theory, but the groups getting offended and calling for censorship used to be unambiguously on the right. The leftists of the time? Well, the party line was all about free speech and pushing what's allowed on TV. For the two creators, Dave Jezza and Matt Silverstein, who are Jewish.
A Jew in our backyard! I can't believe my Jew crow didn't work!
There was no doubt in their minds. Drawn Together was a left-wing show that mocked the racism and homophobia it showed. And now? I'm sorry, the talking heads, things are not the same as they ever was. They're slightly different as they ever was. It's a tug of war, and both sides can be as loudly whiny as each other, but the scales of bitchin' have tipped throughout the past decade.
This is the neighborhood, and you are not welcome.
That's why I need to be here.
But as successfully as they manage to spread their fire across almost all worthy targets, they don't always hit the mark.
Hell, if one bad review can do this to us, imagine what Entertainment Weekly can do to other shows!
But other shows don't suck!
Trying something new and different often brings with it failure as well as success. And as I said before, when you're flinging as many obscene and controversial jokes at a wall, some of them aren't going to stick. This could just be my personal preferences talking, but the gross out humor is a pretty big weak point in my mind. I know this is often said in a snarky way, but I just genuinely feel like I'm not old enough to get anything out of watching Captain Hero wipe mucus on Ling-Ling. Not everything in a comedy show has to either make you laugh or serve as exposition, but I don't know. Most of the gore and bodily fluid jokes don't even craft a funny atmosphere the way a weird facial expression would, a la King of the Hill, or a casual visual gag would. it could be an accessory to another joke. You know, like a gay joke.
Ooh, I'm a really friendly ghost.
But while when it hits, it really hits, when it misses, it can really, really miss. There's an episode involving Clara, Spanky, and a pizza that my other half refuses to watch because it physically makes him gag. To be a bit more specific than that, I also didn't find the Asian jokes in particular funny, like almost any, with the odd exception.
Your word is L.
I don't mean that they're offensive or anything, just lacking something. It kept feeling like the punchline was delivered, but that it came more as a gentle poke on the chin than a punch. And even the Asian jokes in show that are kind of funny aren't as funny as the jokes about other groups. But it seems like the Drawn Together team agreed somewhat, because although they never axed Ling-Ling, he, by far, gets the least amount of episodes focused on him. I even thought for the longest time that he died more than any other character, because those are just his more notable scenes. But when calculating it, that actually wasn't the case. In fact, welcome to the Drawn Together Fatality Rankings! Bringing up the rear, it's Captain Leslie Hero with 5 on-screen deaths. Next up is number 5, Spanky Ham with 8 deaths. Next we have joint 4th, just missing the podium, it's Wooldoor and Foxxy Shakwafafa Love, who died 10 times across the show's run. And in joint 3rd, sharing that bronze medal, it's Xandir and Princess Clara, a perfect duo with a lucky 13 deaths each. And in 2nd place, Ling-Ling comes in with a respectable 18 deaths. But with more fatalities than anyone else, it's the one, the only Toot, who dies 21 times across the show's run. Rest in pepperoni. As we mentioned earlier, it's characters like Foxxy, Captain Hero, and Clara that take the limelight, the most well-rounded, funniest of the cast. Other than that, I don't actually find much wrong with this show. The nudity, the XYZ phobic jokes, the swearing, it's not always funny, but it's funny more often than not. And for a show whose only goal is to make you laugh, well, that's really all you need.
Hey, if you're gonna be gay about this, you can't play.
Sorry.
In short, Drawn Together is modest about itself. It doesn't take itself seriously at all, but that can lead us as viewers to underestimate it too, and label it as the base shock value show and nothing else. It's certainly what most people who cover the show nowadays solely focus on. But beyond that, it was a funny show in its own right that displayed a good deal of competence. The deliberate attempts to cause offense are just a superficial veneer over all of that. And aside from making me laugh, I appreciate that Drawn Together actually did what many South Park fans claim South Park does. It really, truly went after everyone. When it said nothing was off the table, nothing was off the table.
All this time I thought my son was a giant retard. Turns out he's just an inbred.
If they felt it was funny to make fun of a person, group, or sensitive topic, that's what they did. And they did it unflinchingly. How else could you earn the ire of a
Jewish, conservative, pro-life, born-again, overweight, Asian, homophobic, lesbian, broad who cuts herself?
I'll say it. I'll yell it over your booze. Drawn Together is one of my favourite shows. If I've managed to sell you on giving it a try, well, like I said, it can miss badly at times. I'd hate for anyone to start with Unrestrainable Trainable, or the film. If I can suggest any episodes to you to get you into it, it'd probably be a very special Drawn Together, Xander and Tim sitting in a tree, A Tale of Two Cows, and The Breakfast Food Killer. And with that, I only have one final thought to leave you with.
Gay.
Thank you so much if you're still watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!
So listen, we're about to go do the DVT commentary for Drawn Together.
Huh?
I have absolutely no interest in doing it now.
Would you tell him just to do it? I know we're not getting any money, but...
Natty, you should do it because we're going to get money for it, and I've promised you that 100 times.
Yeah, but right now, I spoke to Robert Offer, our lawyer. He specifically said we will not see a dime from the DVDs.
Currently,
currently, as the deal that you guys
what's the
created.
deal right now?
What's the deal say right now?
Yeah, tell Matt what the deal's now, because that will...
What it says is that right now we don't have the separate pot. What we have we have a modified adjusted gross on the back end.
It just sucks that I should do this. Everybody else is getting paid. Why should I do this commentary and not make a dime off of it when when Comedy Central is going to be making money off of it?
Let me explain one thing, and you can do whatever you want, Matt.
Fine, I will.
Dave Chappelle did the commentary for his first DVD. He wasn't going to make a dime off of it either. Not one fucking dime.
Now, how much money did he make off it?
a fuckload. He made 50. Because the show came on, the show worked. Then we renegotiated, and it's a $50 million.
But that's the thing
deal.
is that our show isn't as good as Chappelle, so there's no way we'll ever make $50 million.
Right, but guys, Comedy Central might not make money off of it. Comedy Central may be making money off the DVD just to make money back that they spent on the show. They're producing 23 episodes.
You never wanted to do this show anyway.
What?
You didn't want us to do this show. You didn't want us to sell it anyway. Remember that? Remember in the beginning when we had the idea? The first thing you said for us to do is to shelve it.
Okay.
Wait.
Is that true or not?
I don't think so.
Oh, that is so true.
No, you just said you didn't think it
You
made
didn't think
any
it was
sense.
a good idea. You said, Clone High, I see. This, I don't see.
Hey, anyway, so listen, I'm trying to explain to Matt, I thought we were going to make some money off this thing. So you are actually saying we're not making any money off this? Unless it's like sells 1 million of them?
No. If we sell 1 million of these things, Dave, two things are going to happen. Number
But we
one,
only have like 800,000 people watch the show. Every single one of them plus 200,000 people aren't going to buy this thing. I mean, I appreciate, you and Baruch. Baruch thinks there's going to be a play out in Broadway of this thing.
There's a Broadway move here for sure. Listen, our leverage in the deal is in trying to possibly do another year of the show.
This is just embarrassing. All right, it's embarrassing.
Let me ask you, if we don't...
Do you understand?
No, do you understand? Do you understand? I've been working for 2.5, 3, 4 years on this stupid show, and I don't have enough money for even my kid to move my kid into a decent home.
To teach him how to say anything but Ernie or Bert. Hey, right.
It is a fucked up situation, and the deal you guys created is horrific.
Did you hang up?
Who?
Matt.
All right. First of all,
let me just put this.
No. You know what?
No, what?
No.
What? You talk.
I don't really want to talk to you right now.
Good. Neither do I. Thanks. I love you.